Eastbourne Borough's Borough Means Business lunch in April, participants had the chance to question Parliamentary Candidate Stephen Lloyd and Lloyd and Ansell. Here's how they responded on a question about stepping up from education to the workplace.
One of my occasional frustrations when I'm doing my surgeries, because those of you who live in Eastbourne know I've been doing them for years, from Asda, Morrison's, Arndale, you name it. It's about being very accessible. One of my occasional frustrations is I may have a constituent sitting in front of me who's a bit angry about something, and they will be a pensioner, and they will say, and what's more, you know, the government have picked on us the most, etc., etc. That's not true. And occasional frustration is I want to say, well, actually, Madam Sir, you're completely wrong. The group have had it toughest have been young people. Because as austerity is difficult decisions have had to be made, and cutbacks have had to be made, which in the main I've supported, because I know when a debt is so big you have to sort things before you start splurging. And it has been difficult for young people. And that's kind of why a key reason I was so passionate about, or am so passionate about apprenticeships. I'm the chair of the all-party parliamentary group for FE and lifelong learning in Westminster. And as I've already said, I was the first MP to do the apprenticeships thing. Because I know from my own business background that apprenticeships run at a really high conversion rate. If you have a good apprenticeship, the odds of you getting a job at the end of it are very, very high. And I also know there are a lot of people, a lot of young people who may not be academic. Frankly, university is not suited for them. Apprenticeships is the right thing. And the other thing is we've actually got a good local college in Sussex Downs. So to me, it's really important for any politician to be very upfront and to engage really quite robustly with young people. Because there's a real sense with a lot of young, because of what they hear from that idiot Russell Brand and what they hear from the media, that there's no point in engaging. All politicians are thieves or what have you. And the only way you change that, you don't moan, you get to speak to them, you get to know them. So I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee you that if you walked around with me around Langley, Old Town, Hampden Park or what have you, and just randomly walked past 50, 60, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, I guarantee you that most of them will know who I am, and I don't mean that egocentrically. MPs don't have a lot of power. What they have is access to power. That's the key. And if you're a businessman or woman, as I know a lot are in this room, you'll get that. So my passion for young people is getting them a job, being tough with them sometimes. I get youngsters coming to see me and they're, oh, I'm going to do it, Kevin. I say, it's all pads, it's rubbish. And I said, what do? You're going to moan? You're going to volunteer? And I really am quite strong with them. And it works because I think they get that it's something I really care profoundly about.
In terms of young people and employment, it's one coin, two sides. We need to generate the jobs for them to move into. And under this Parliament, 1,000 jobs a day. There have been more jobs created in Yorkshire than in France under this government. So that's one really critical thing. There has to be opportunity out there. And youth unemployment, I think, has been an absolute tragedy for very many, many years. And when you step out and you are struggling to get that first job, that be the effects of that, and then longer term as it grows and it builds, the loss of confidence, the loss of esteem, so important that when young people are stepping out into the world of work, that they have opportunity. So that's the first thing we need to do, have a world in which they have opportunity and there is potential for them. Secondly, thinking of my years in education, I think well-intentioned but definitely misguided. There was this idea a decade and more ago that we must all be the same. And that was most readily typified in a primary school sports day. All the children lined up, starting gun goes, you run to the middle line, and then you all hold hands and you cross the finish line together, because we're all the same. Oh, no. It's so clear. Some of us are born to run. Some of us are obviously not. And those of us who are, we need to let them fly. And others are born to write, others to explore, others to research, others to do business. And so education needs to look at each individual and allow them the freedom, the space, the air to be the best they can be. And I think for too long also in this misguided idea that we're all the same and we're all to have the same chances, there was a huge push for everybody to go to university. And that was never the way to really promote people's prospects. And so I think in recent years there's been a really wholesome and right move to providing a whole raft of different pathways for people to move forward and to be successful. One of which is an apprenticeship programme. Another, work experience, and I think businesses are to be hugely lauded for that, because business has an important role to play in education. Because if we want to talk about being work ready, who are the natural partners of choice? Schools, yes, have that responsibility for the education of young people, but we're all in this together, and so businesses and education need to walk hand in hand in order to prepare young people for the world of work ahead.